Foster Car Finance, proud sponsors of the Awawi Famalam podcast. Haha, it's right, lad.
Hello. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the How Are We Famalam podcast with me, Jazzy Dickens, and my co-host John May. And today we've got a very special guest, Martin Murray.
Those things.
Yeah, good man. 4 times world title challenger, Martin Murray.
Yeah, no, 5, wasn't he? That was my last one, wasn't he?
5?
Yeah, 5. Yeah.
Lost count.
Yeah, same here. Lost count after about 3 myself.
I was looking at your box deck before Mark coming in. It was very impressive, and not losing to anyone who hasn't won a world title is just unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously fought everyone that was really out there at the time. On about early, weren't we, about the chances you get the chance, you just got to take them. That's all I did, mate. Turned pro late at 25. And just wanted to have no regrets. By the time I finished, saying I went everywhere and fought everybody, and any opportunity that was put my way, I kind of jumped at the chance.
Look, as a fellow boxer, Matt, I'm looking forward to talking about your experience as a fighter. Going back to the start, where did you grow up and what was it like growing up for you?
Council estate in St Helens. Mum and dad still lived there, just a working class area. Didn't have much, mate, but everything we had to work hard for. And it was just just rough, mate. It's just kind of, say rough, it's kind of like just what normal is to most people, you know what I mean? And that's how it was. Like I said, didn't have much, but everything we had, my mum and dad worked hard for. Always had a pair of boxing gloves in our house. Don't know why, because my dad was not a boxer and my mum's obviously not a boxer, but my granddad was the secretary at our amateur club, so maybe that's why. But so always had a pair of boxing gloves. Went in the gym at 7 and then started properly at 10. And then obviously just had a good amateur career up until 16, 17.
Did you have siblings, Matt?
Yeah, I'm oldest, so I had siblings, then, did you say?
Yeah.
I didn't want to answer the question.
What did you think he said?
I'm not going to clue, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, obviously I'm oldest, me. Then there's a year younger than me, I was Danny. Year younger than him, I was Katie. And then there's a few years then, so Ricky, so there's 4 of us.
Oh, so you'll be fighting in the house with the gloves on? One glove each?
One glove each, mate. That's exactly how it was, yeah. One glove each, mate. Yeah, didn't have enough money for 2 pairs of gloves. Pair of boxing gloves between us, just shaving them. Yeah.
Going in the gym, Matt, when you first went in the gym, what was it like for you? Was it something that you enjoyed? Was it a passion for you?
Yeah, I loved it straight away. Yeah, as soon as I got in the gym, it was just one of them. I remember the first time I went to the gym and Johnny Chizzy, you can't get away with it these days. There's a lot Chizzy did that you couldn't get away with these days. He used to always, come on to state in his van and just throw all kids at the back of his van and just take you to the gym, and you won't get away with that if you did it these days.
Is that what he do? Just turn up and kids get in?
Launch all kids at the back of his van.
That's brilliant, that though, isn't it?
Just throw us all in, and then obviously go and tell your mum, second at gym, throw us in.
Was he someone who was trying to make a bit of a change?
That's exactly what he was doing, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's old. That's really like... Oh.
Yeah, so then obviously go at gym and then just threw me in ring first day, had a spar, and I just remember just being this lad with gloves on, just proper going for it. And I just loved it, mate. I just knew there and then that was boxing was the sport for me.
Wow. How amazed. That's brilliant that fella's done that. So he's the one who sort of got you going, if you like. Well, yeah. The one to give you that little extra push.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Johnny Chiz was, he was a big character. He sadly died in 2005, but he was dead passionate about getting the kids off the estates and trying to make them do something with their lives, and that's what he did. And throughout my childhood, Chizzy was always there. He was all over the place fighting, and then he was obsessed with checking your weight as well. Yeah. I mean, ridiculous, old school way. He used surprise knock on your door at 10 o'clock at night with a pair of scales in his hand.
It's not Chizzy again. It's scales.
I just surprised Wayne. That's what he was like. He was old school, but apart from arguing over weight, me and Chizzy never really argued. Throughout my childhood up until I got to 17, 18, started going out, and then we was he was fuming then because we were going out drinking. He was saying, "You're pissing your career away." And we were just battling for a few years then because it was like drinking and then back at gym and then doing this, doing that, you know what I mean? But he was just a sort of, you know, legend of a guy like who did a lot for me. And even now, like, you know, Steve Birch has got a gym in St Helens. Birch used fights under him. So Birch is teaching kids because of him. There's Wildcard Gym, Dom and McGill in Par. They're two of Chizzy's ex-fighters. So, you know, everything he's taught us, like, it's, you know, it's passed on a few generations, even when he's not here. So his name will never die, like, you know what I mean? He was a legend.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Community heroes, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're everywhere in every community, aren't they, man? We go on to fight on the telly, and then these people are just content with their place in the community, aren't they? Real heroes.
Well, there's that many different amateur coaches out there, like, hats off to him. You know yourself, the time and effort they put in. Yeah. And all it is, it's just for kids, isn't it? You know, they're like a father role to a lot of them, the social workers, and, you know, a boxer, like when you're a full-time amateur boxing coach, it takes over your life. And, you know, I think they deserve a lot more credit than they actually get.
Yeah. Do you remember your first fight with Chizzy, Matt?
Bonfire night, it was 5th of November, 1993 in Northwich against Michael Blackmore. Yeah. Wow. Oh, my first fight, I think I was 4 stone 2, I think. No, what was that, 4 stone 9, I think I was my first fight.
Wow, these are the stories that people don't hear, man.
Really?
Yeah, 4 stone 9.
How old was you?
11.
So you've been in the gym for 4 years?
Yeah. But I was like, I won the schoolboys last year at school, 16 at 7 stone, 45k. So I was tiny. Yeah. So Craig Lyon, obviously, you know Craig Lyon, don't you? Craig Lyon wears above me. And obviously, you know, Craig, what was then? I was 7 stone 8, he was 7.5.
So you must have had a massive growth spurt, man, must you?
It was only, like, I dieted all my life. Throughout my, like, childhood, I dieted, that's all I did. And I had
Chizzy knocked on your door at 10 o'clock with
Was he like the 90s version of Varda, just knocking at your door?
No, honestly, he was. He was, that's what he was like. But, it was only when he had a break from boxing that I kind of let my body grow, and I grew then. So I remember first jail sentence I did, like I went in at, I think I went in about 8 stone, 8.5 stone, and then I come out over 11. Do you know what I mean? So I just trained in it, and my body just grew. But it was only like later on that I started like developing physically because, just because I was at dieting, I just had time to let my body grow and eating.
It's mad, isn't it, man? People don't really believe that you can suppress your growth, do they? But
oh yeah, massively.
That's why I'm only 9 stone. But yeah, when you diet all these years, you just never grow into the person you
so you say you went to jail, so in a way that's sort of like doing you a favour in the end.
Oh, massive favour, yeah. Not just in like from that side of things, but just in life. Do you know what I mean? So took me a while, like, for learn. You know what I mean? I was in and out back and two, but it did me a favour really in a way.
What age was that at, man? Because also come from counter estates, there's normality, and normality for people on counter estates is just getting up to mischief, innit? It's not like you're not a bad person, just mischief.
No, I mean, like, what it was with me was, like, when, like I said, I boxed, like, ended up having 8 amateur fights, like, but because I was small as well, there was only a certain select few people who you'd fight because I was in the lower end of the weight each time, you know what I mean? So some of the people I fought 4 or 5 times because you couldn't get matched up. But I dieted all my life, and then when I got to like 17, 18, I went for going to army, and I got knocked back from army, and I ended up going to Wigan Pier with lads like, and mate of mine gave me half a tablet, half an E, and I'd never had it like that before. Because like I said, put this on silence. Up until then I've been training. So when kids are going out like they do 13, 14, 15, drinking, doing whatever, I never did it. So when I got to 17, 18, that's when I did it then. Like I said, took half a tablet, and I just went on a bender for a few years. Yeah, and it was just mad, and it was just kind of was kind of chasing my tail then for a few years, like, you know what I mean? And then what you were doing, like you said, countless state, getting into mischief, just with lads just doing what you do, and then ended up getting into bother and kind of like chasing my tail and trying to sort myself out and trying to sort my head out. And so I was in and out of jail, and then, you know, I managed, met Jem, like my wife, and then just kind of like sorting my head out.
Boss, I can imagine the times in between being in the gym and being off the rails, man. When you're seeing Chizzy, it must have been hard for you.
Hard, honestly. It was. He'd, mate, honest, got some stories, but he used to, where we live, like where he used to live, there's like a little rubber shop. Chizzy lived in the same area. And if you went in the gym and his van come like driving down the street, he was a grown man, like, you know what I mean? He didn't care, he was old Chiz, but he was ruthless. He was a proper old school, he used to give it you. So you used to think, oh, I can't be arsed this argument today. So you just go in there, just jump behind the car, so he'd drive past it. But he'd literally just be driving it streets and he'd just stop in the middle of the road, slam on, and proper bollock you, get out of the van. But it was, you know, but all he wanted us to do was be in the gym, sort our heads out. So then you're in the gym and then,
because that's what you're saying, being on a council estate, like you said, it's just normality to get up to mischief because it's keeping yourself occupied. Yeah. Something to do. I mean, I had to climb back walls and light fires. I went bad. Yeah. But it just, he's been aware that there's been nothing for the kid to keep himself occupied. It's just brilliant what he's done.
No, it's amazing.
I know I've said it once, but...
I mean, like, I look back, like, throughout my career, like, my life before I turned professional, proper sorting my head out, like, I wasn't involved in I never got nicked for any shit when I was in the gym. Do you know what I mean? That's why people and kids need something they can focus on. They need boxing gyms, you know what I mean? They need these social clubs or wherever they go, these youth clubs. They need something they can focus on. Because like I said, you know, I never got nicked or arrested. When I was in a gym, you know, good things were happening to me. It was only when I went from the gym that they didn't happen. But like Chizzy wasn't happy. He's back into, and you know, he only ever wanted me do good with my life. That's it. And I remember, like, I was in Walton in 2005, and he was ill. Chizzy was ill for a few years, and like I was on phone to him, like phoning him from Walton, and he was ill, and he went home. So like, you know, so we could pass away at home, and then spoke to him, I think, a day or two before he died. So obviously both upset, you know, crying down phone to each other because I realised I was never going to see him again. Yeah. Couldn't go to his funeral. And I remember writing in this letter. I think it was a few days before he died anyway. Found out that he did get to read the letter, but everything that was on the letter, what I was saying to him, he was right. All this stuff he was telling me, you know, years before. You know, I had time where I was aware to evaluate everything he was saying, and he was right. Yeah. Everything he was saying, he was right. And even now, stuff he was saying, like all them years ago, 20 years ago, even now, you know, it's still coming right now, the stuff he was saying. So he's a legend of a guy, like, and you know, we will never forget him. Proper character.
I know we're talking about him a lot, but I just found it as interesting. I wondered if he went through something similar when he was younger.
He did.
And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was his way of paying back to society.
Yeah.
Or paying back.
No, definitely. You're spot on there because he did. He turned pro himself. But, thoughts under the name Johnny James. I don't know. I think there might have been another John Chisnall fighting. I don't know. But because you can't have the same name, can you? So I think he went under the name Johnny James, and his record wasn't that good, but that's what he said. He said, I used to go out. I was out, you know, with women. I was, you know, fighting because I was eating and drinking. He was quite big. He was fighting, you know, a few weights above his weight, and he didn't have a good record. So that was his way of kind of, you know, trying to correct the mistakes he did through us, like.
So from the ages, man, when you come out of boxing, you started going off the rails, back in, back out, how many years did you turn professional? Or did you go back to the amateur system before you
I went back to the amateurs, so 2005, when... 2005 when John had passed, I come out and obviously I wasn't the same going back to the gym without John. So I went with John Lyon, you know, John Lyon, legend in amateur boxing, obviously in St Helens, and he had a gym in Wigan at the time. So just remember getting out and it wasn't that time actually. It was the time after that. I was away. Yeah, and that's how it was. But then I went to him and I just went, "Listen, John, I need to sort me out." Yeah, because what happened was I ended up in a bother when I got out of that sentence, and then I ended up going on my tours and in working abroad in Malaya in Crete. So I was there for 12 weeks, and then come back then, and then got nicked, did a little sentence, and then went to John and just said, "Listen, John, I just met Jem and I knew how I wanted my life to be." I just went to him again. I just said, "Listen, John, I need some help, mate. I need your help, mate. If I don't get in the gym now, I'm gonna be in and out of jail all my life. I'd end up dead." And John Lyne dedicated loads of time into me. I had 3 or 4 amateur fights with him, and then signed over with Steve Wood then, 2007.
Before we go into the pro career, Matt, what was the last weight you fought at as an amateur? And now, what are you fighting at?
What was it? 12 stone. So I was actually heavier.
Oh.
Yeah, because what I did was I went, obviously that first sentence I come out 11 stone, and then I won the ABAs at welterweight while I was on run when I won ABAs. I don't know how I managed to do it. But yeah.
Are you going to venue thinking okay?
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Wow. That's brilliant.
Yeah. And then fought for England. Got an England team because I won ABAs. And then fought Danny Jacobs, Jacobs.
Yeah.
Fought him. And then I was due for winning ABAs then, 2005. But then this kid, I had a fight in a pizza shop over frozen chips. It was
Frozen chips?
Yeah, it wasn't even me, it was my mate, but I was just trying to
Why were the chips frozen?
well, that's it, I don't know, my mate was fuming, he's vegetarian.
They're not even cooked.
That's exactly what he did. No, but what he did, instead of throwing the chips, he had a bottle of WKD and he landed it fry, and then all chippy went up. Wow. So then it was a daft fight, and I was trying to sort everything out, and then we got into this stupid fight, and then 4 of us got nicked, and then I was the only one who went away because he had a past. So anyway, I ended up going away for that. So I went in then, I won ABAs at 10-12, and then I went in Walton, and all I did was just eat loads of duff and, train, and then I got a job at Jim Hardley, and then I come out 14 stone. So I'd then put on load more weight, so then he had to get my weight down, and then I think I fought, what was my first? I think my first fight was at 12 stone, I think.
You put a stone on because you feel a difference, don't you, Marty?
Yeah. Feel loads better with weight, but obviously you fight bigger people, don't you? But so then when I turned pro, then it was right, so I'll do middleweight.
What's that in?
11.6.
6. Yeah, well, you drop a bit.
Yeah, but you don't, as you know, you don't actually have to weigh in at that weight up until you've got a title fight, which you did before weighing. So,
because you always throughout life, I'm just comparing it to me. It's you said you were either 100% into the boxing, but if you didn't have that, then you get distracted and get a bit mischievous. Do you feel like you've got all this energy that you've got to channel all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I put it down to just finding myself. You know what I mean? I didn't really know. I've never been a bad person. Do you know what I mean? I've always been. I'd like to think a decent guy, but you just get caught up in some stupid things at times, and I it was just my mindset really. Back then, I didn't know where I was going, and then I was thinking if I was going to do something negative, which looking at it on a negative way, that kind of lifestyle, then if I was going to do something, I was going to do it proper, and that's why I knew that if I carried on living that lifestyle, I knew that something I had to go, someone had to give. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm glad I spun it on its head, and then ended up looking at my life in a positive way, and then I was just all out boxing then, you know what I mean? But every time I was in the gym, I was focused on what I was doing, and it was only when I got outside and seen them distractions.
The company changes, doesn't it? When you're in the gym, when you're out.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
You said then, Matt, you turned professional with Steve Woods. I turned professional with Steve Woods.
Yeah.
He's the top guy. He's great
Steve.
at his job,
Yeah.
and I think he'd be a top promoter, really big promoter in the world one day.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you go in with aspirations and plans, or was you seeing what was your goals?
I just wanted to change my life. You know, I just wanted to change my life. So got with Jem, and then she was pregnant with our Arch, and you know, we ended up moving into Wigan. I thought, right, I need to get out of the area. You know, she's from Warrington, but a lot of my training then was Wigan based. You know, like my strength and conditioning was Wigan, my physio was in Wigan, still is in Wigan. Pinky, we still see now, like even though I'm retired, but because he's a friend now, Pinky, like, you know, but yeah, so we ended up moving to Wigan, and all I wanted to do, like I said, I just wanted to change my life. And then, you know, when it set out, like I didn't really aim to like, because I was realistic of my chances of what would happen when I turned pro. So I just wanted to win British title, which is an high enough aim anyway. But that was it. I just wanted to change my life. I've no regrets to win British title, so I could dedicate it to Johnny Chiz. And I won it in 2011, and you know, I dedicated it to Chizzy, but it was the fight after that. Like, I ended up fighting Felix Sturm directly after that, so that kind of just puts you in a different place, doesn't it?
Because you need another few step ups, don't you? European level,
ideally.
Fighter coming down from a world title to build yourself.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
What was that like taking that? What was you like going into that match? Where was you at? Coming from being a British champion, was you high in confidence as it was?
It was high in confidence. I knew it was an hard fight, obviously. You know, it's all right saying that you're world class, and then, you know, getting up there and that you're not. So, you know, we kind of, me and Oliver, you know, we'd worked so hard for so many years, and we knew we just needed the chance. And then when the chance come up, we took it, and we kind of just, you know, got a draw in Germany. Just prove that we belong there, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been there myself, Matt, and you think, I like it here. I want to be at this level. I don't want to, it feels bad going back, doesn't it? It's hard going back, Matt.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, that's where, you know, my career suffered, I think, because I was like, there was no consistency. Like you said, you know, ideally for British title, step up, European people coming down, ex-world champions, then get your world title and stay there. With me, it was like, Nick Blackwell, who was the best around at the time to fight, because obviously I wanted the Matthew Macklin, Darren Barker fights, but they were a step or two in front of me. They didn't need me, so then obviously they was on world level. So then I fought Nick Blackwell, and then it was kind of bang. It was Felix Sturm then, and then after that there was like loads of like low key fights, and then it was Martinez, and then low key fights Abraham. Do you know what I mean? There was no, it was all up and down. Like, you know, there was no consistency really, and it's hard to get up for them. You know, when you fight someone who's world class, world champion, and especially when you're expected to get beat, because I love that. I thrive in them positions, in situations, and you know, I love it when things are against me, and you know, like, don't think there's not many things better than proving people wrong. Do you know what I mean? All them people who's doubted you, say you can't do it, and you go in there and you prove, not just in boxing, but in life. You know, I know there's plenty of people who like I knew back in the day who didn't want to see me do well, but you know, I just buzz off it now how far I've come. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm anybody, because I don't think I'm anybody at all, but I know from where I was to where I am, I've made it, and that you know, that's why I'm so happy, like, with my life. You know what I mean? I've got everything I need. I've got my miss, I've got my kids, and yeah, I'm happy.
When you're now winning British titles, Matt, you won the Commonwealth title too, didn't you?
Commonwealth 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2011 British.
Are you seeing a change in the community you're from? Or not so much the community, are you seeing change in people who you once thought supported you? Where you're saying there, people aren't happy for you?
Yeah, there's a few people like that. But going back to that, what Chizzy said, you know, there was a couple of people close to me back then who Chizzy didn't like, and he used to tell me, you're not the mates. He said, I don't care whether it's in 6 days, 6 months, 6 years. He said, you'll find out one day they're not your friends. And like I said, it's still coming to light now, but
so he'd recognise that, he'd see it.
He'd see it, yeah, and he told me all them years ago, and I won't have it. Yeah. You think, now I'm with lads, and you know, but a lot of friends, I'm still friends with him now, still top mates with him, still really close. But But yeah, you know, it's some people you just grow apart, mate, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you, like, your focus and your vision changes on what you want to do in life, and it's different to what they want to do. And you know, good luck to them.
Second world title fight.
Second
World title fight. Second world title. The second world title was the well, yeah, it's gone, Matt. It was the Martinez fight in Argentina. What was that like, Matt?
Just like an experience I'll never forget, mate. It was amazing. It was he's someone else, him, like, over there. He's like they did, like, when we got over. My fight before him, I fought on Rick Hatton's last ever fight. It was at MEN.
I was on the same card, Matt.
Was you?
Yeah.
Who did you fight?
I went on after the bill. I was on live float.
Was you?
I was on live float, Matt. I went on after the bill because there was a flood in the changes, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was a mad night. Yeah. Sorry, back to your story.
No, yeah. So obviously I won on that. And it was like, if you beat him, your chance you've got Martinez. So we went over there after fighting the December 2012 promoting fight, and they just done the Sports Personality Year Award, and like Messi got number 2 and he got number 1. Like, you know what I mean? He was like he was like a god over there. Yeah. So you go in there and, like, I'm just like this normal kid off this council estate, just going, and like, I think because everyone thought that I was fighting him, the attention that was on you because of it, the media attention, everything. The press conference never been. I don't think you'll ever go to a press conference like it. It was unbelievable, and we kind of just obviously went in there, did all the, you know, he's nice. Martin he's a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not like a prick. He's a good guy, and obviously met him. I had a chat with him, and then we was fighting him 4 months later, which was on the 30th anniversary of Falklands War. So I was brought in for get beat, but I obviously had different plans, and
so they wanted a bit of a British.
That's all he wanted.
What were the people, the Argentinians?
Oh, they were lovely.
Oh, were they?
Oh, mate, honestly, yeah. But I think the best way of describing it is, like, if I ask you, how do you feel about the Falklands War? You not ask you but that's it. You know, I guess you don't really care. You do, you know, you wouldn't treat an Argentinian person nasty because of it. Do you know what I mean? And that's how they are. That's how they was with me. I mean, when we got there, it was a bit different on fight night. Yeah. The atmosphere, like, was an experience, but you know, before and after, mate, just lovely people.
I've been to Argentina. Yeah, got an acting job out there.
Did you?
Boss, yeah.
Where'd you go?
What's the capital called?
Yeah, Buenos Aires. Yeah,
Buenos Aires. Yeah, it's good. It's like a European city, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it's like a lot of them from Madrid and back and so on.
I went to Chile. Sorry to make it all about me. But I went to Chile, and that was like, you know, like cowboy hats on and all that. It was like all desert and that, but yeah, that was like a European city. It was lovely. Did you have a steak when you were out there?
Oh, mate, yeah.
Jazzy, fucking.
Another level, isn't it?
Oh, it's like you go, how do you want your steak? You go, I'll have it well done. And it comes out fucking like mooing. You know what I mean? It's still, they're like that.
Yeah. A steak at World, they said, don't they?
Yeah, Argentinian steak.
Yeah, good experience, mate. It was someone else.
Because we were managed by the same guy who was Neil Marsh, and he was telling me on the night, he said it was hostile, so fuck, man. So when you were going in there, people were spitting and everything. That is what he said. And he said you was just tough as old boots, Matt. You didn't give a fuck. And you won that fight, Matt, didn't you?
Yeah, well, at first I didn't, but I reckon I did, mate, yeah. I should have got it, but yeah, just in the zone, like, you know, you kind of, I don't know, you know, I'd set myself to some weird, you know, when I get in fights, I'd set myself to some weird places, and I was thinking all kinds of shit was going to happen when I was going in, doing that ring walking in there. So anything they were doing, like, was, even though it was, you'd think it was bad, it wasn't. It didn't, you know, it was just kind of zoned in. Me and Oliver, you know, we had a top camp for it, and, you know, we were ready, and we were ready to go and shot the world. And, you know, like I said, it was brought over as cannon fodder for get beat, but, you know, we had him down twice, and, you know, beat him, I'd like to think convincingly, and but I knew when final bell went, so I was never going to get it over there. Like,
did you know that, Matt?
Yeah, no, mate, no.
When you're over, like, you might get it.
No, yeah, it's but just being realistic, like, and you know what? If I did win, I honestly think I won't be here to tell the tale. Honestly,
Really?
yeah, oh, mate, yeah.
Fucking hell.
I mean, they won like what he won, and the crowd turned anywhere. So everyone I took 50 of us over, like, and because the football's mad over there in the stadiums, they have like little cages, don't they? Where away end,
Yeah.
Right.
and they have all.
You have to cage
It's all
the fans
caged off.
Yeah.
So obviously all my supporters in there, and then even when he won, like they all turned on him, like was trying to get him, and yeah, they ended up getting
You
placed
have to keep them separate.
in
Is that
a tiny cage in middle of everyone. Yeah.
See what? Sorry to change the subject, but you see what they done with Maradona? Someone took someone took a picture of his body in the mortuary, and they went after him big time.
Yeah, they got him, didn't they? Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Time, there's videos flying around.
Why? Because he's that loved over there.
Yeah, they fucking got him bad. Oh yeah. Shouldn't really be talking about. We can talk about what we fucking like, can't we? But yeah, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
But that's how proud they are. You know what I mean?
Where was it, man? Whose ground was it?
Villa Sarsfield it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and then when it was over, like we went to a game of theirs, and we went to Boca Juniors game as well. That was an experience.
Was it?
Yeah, but just good people, like, you know what I mean. It was an old Boca Juniors fan would love him because it was all over the news, like, and I think Martinez is an Independiente fan. So the fact that all Boca Juniors fans were like cheering for me, like when I was going, when I was walking through, because like what one of our bodyguards was saying, bodyguards. We had 3 bodyguards walking around 24/7, like, really? Yeah, sleeping outside the room. It was mad.
I was a man with an umbrella. We didn't even record that bit. I'll shut up.
But yeah, like he was saying, saying, yeah, they support, they wanted me to win because obviously he was, he supports them. So they're dead proud, you know what I mean? Especially behind the football teams. But just good people, mate. And I still speak to some of them now on social media and that. And, one at fans from Velas, like, who still sends me T-shirts over now. Yeah, for football club, like, so. But yeah, just a good experience. And, like, from that, like, it was like nothing was ever going to top that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even the Golovkin fight was good. It was in Monte Carlo. It was a proper top experience. But that Martinez one was someone else. Like
in a hole, it was just a
yeah,
massive boss.
He was at the top as well, Martinez, Matt. When he was Martinez, got decision. You deserved the decision, Matt. You did.
I know, but it's what it is, isn't it?
It's like one thing we skimmed over here, man. But Oliver, you mentioned Oliver, and back. What was it like training with Oliver? Because he was more.
He was brilliant, legend, mate. He was, everything he did. He just knew the game. He just knew it, and I taught me a lot that's only going to stand me in good stead moving forward, when I get into like proper training, stuff like that. But not only that, mate, he was just a good person. He was a good guy. He was a friend. But yeah, we had a top comp for that. Was confident going in. We knew he was up against it, but he nailed the tactics and he nailed them. And obviously we went out, followed orders, went through the fight, and we should have got it. But yeah, just one of them. It just wasn't meant to be. And it was sad. I was like gutted for myself, but I was gutted for Oliver as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he's like put so
real boxing man.
We both put real boxing man, and he was. I think all I wanted to do was like bring a world champion through. Mm. Do you know what I mean? And kind of that should have been it for all. You can argue with a Stern one.
Many people say that won that.
I know many people thought I won that, but I think with the Martinez one, there was no denying it, mate. Yeah. No, but yeah, we just obviously got back to the drawing board, and started where we left off, really, like training. But it was the next opponents that was the problem. Do you know what I mean?
Coming back down.
Coming back down, not the problem. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but just like you go to find somebody who was the considered best middleweight in the world at the time, number 2 pound for pound, and then you come down and you fight somebody hard as nails like the lad, but I fought him like 8 fights before. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like, it was just like,
You're taking one step back
rebuild.
again. Right?
there you go. Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
go through a process called rebuilding, and it's about creating more hype again. So like when
Yeah.
you lose, you come back down, and fans
Yeah.
don't want to see. They just like
Yeah.
D8, you know.
I'm not a boxer. Do a lot of people find it hard to come back from that? It must take a lot of determination to.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting up for it. Like, you know, football teams do it, rugby teams do it. You know, you drop your guard when you play or fight that lesser opposition, and you know, kind of.
I've had to believe you're not good enough, do you?
You just have some flat performances.
When you don't qualify for the Champions League, you know there's going to be another one next year. But as boxing, you come back down, you don't know if you're going to fight for the world title again. So it's like a long process. You're unsure. You don't know. You have to go back into it with a lot of belief. You know what I mean? You have to put even more into it, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's a long drawn out process.
And even just when you fight, you know, you box and you have an off performance, because it happens. Players have an off game. They can hide behind other players. Getting boxing, it's just you. So if you have an off fight, you know, you have an off fight, and then you're waiting months for kind of put it right. It was like you said, footballers, rugby players, whatever, they can put it right the week after. Whereas boxers, it's, you know, it's kind of, say it's the loneliest sport in the world, and
Must be tough.
you know, when it is like I've been through some dark times over years, me, like, you know, like I fell out of love with boxing in a big way.
Did you, man?
Yeah, in a big way, mate. Yeah.
What point in your career was this, man?
I think it was after Martinez fight. That was my lowest point, because I was in contract with that and promotions, and I wasn't given a fight, and all I wanted to do was fight, provide for my family. And then I went to see Ricky, like, and I said to him about fighting, and he wished me well, Ricky, like, wished me all the best. I get where you're coming from. But then I got a letter from from someone who worked for him saying you're still in contract. But what he did, this person, I'm not going to say his name, what he did, this person, he set me up. So that straight away after Martinez fight, I did my elbow in, like in the camp and in the fight, I needed an operation. And he phoned me up and he said, Golovkin's team's been on, do you want to know if you want to fight? And I said, yeah, I'll fight. I said, but what they offering? And they went, oh, well, I can't tell you what they're offering. So I'm like, well, how can you not tell me what they're offering? And they went, well, I just can't, yeah. So I just said, like, listen, I'll take the fight if it's worth it. If not, I'll go and get my elbow operated on. And they went, no, well, I can't tell you what you're getting. So I just went, oh, well, I'm not fighting it. That's it. This is how, honestly, this on my kids' lives, this is what happened. And so he said to me, well, why don't put it in an email about, you can't take the fight because you have an operation. So I did it. So anyway, fast forward months later, when, you know, I was due a fight, didn't get it, I went and I seen Rick and he wished me all the best. These lawyers have contacted me and said, well, didn't you send this email months ago? So my contract was stopped from there and in, you see. Wow. So it stopped all in months before, so I was still in contract, but I wanted to get out, I couldn't fight. And I was paying like grands for solicitors, you know, trying to sort it all out. And I was just thinking, like, why am I doing it? You know what I mean? And like Jem said to me, like, you know, if he's making you that unhappy, why are you doing it? And I was gonna retire. It was the time when I parted company with Neil.
Yep.
And then, you know, I was gonna retire, didn't know what was happening. And then, like, I went seeing good mate of mine, Andy McKyle, businessman in St. Helens, and I asked him, be my manager, because he's like really successful businessman and he just knows business. And
you know the game by now, don't you?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And he just said, listen, I'd love to be a manager, but I think you need a proper boxing manager, because I don't know boxing. I love boxing, but I don't know it. So anyway, he just helped me out for the bit, advised me. And then we ended up going Monte Carlo, watching Golovkin fight. And then we met Rodney Burnham there at this fight. Because I was meant to fight on the show, actually, but we had a press conference, all complicated. Man, we had a press conference for me fighting for this world title in Monte Carlo. Yeah. And then I was flat out training for it. And then about a couple of weeks before the fight, they said to me, WBA and team has sanctioned the fight. You're not fighting for the world title. So then I didn't end up fighting on the show.
Who was that against? Going to be against, man?
It was against from Australia. Can't think of his name. It wasn't Daniel Gale, it was someone else. He ended up actually fighting on the shore against someone who I fought against Max Burzak, someone who I ended up fighting in Monte Carlo the year later, but we ended up winning the show anyway. Met Rodney Burnham, who's from South Africa, and he offered us a contract, so we ended up fighting in Johannesburg.
Wow.
And then Monte Carlo then for a few times after that.
What was it like Monte Carlo, Matt? Because it's come out of nowhere, didn't it, for the boxing?
Yeah. Just like, apparently it's been there years. Like Agler fought there years ago. It's always gone on. And the Prince, like the royal family in Monte Carlo are big boxing fans. And Mike Whitstock, who was from Golden Gloves, he's a pal of Andy's. Like they got friends through meeting each other. He's the Princess of Monaco's dad. So he was the one who got the boxing there, and then they offered us this contract with Rodney Burnham, Golden Gloves, and then we ended up over there. But it was just a mad experience, like coming from a council estate,
seeing all of them,
to seeing all that, like, you know what I mean? And it's another level over there, like, you know.
Not never been, no. You still stakes there?
No, yeah. No, it's just like
It's just mate, just
top end, like
it's ridiculous, mate. It's like half a lag's like 15 quid. Do you know what I mean? And like, people just pay it willingly, like it don't bother them. But everywhere you go, you see it, and it's inspiring for me. Like, I don't hate on anybody. Honestly, there's no one in this world who I don't want to do well. I'm not bothered. I'm more focused on me doing my life, and if anyone else, good on them, like, you know what I mean? And going there, seeing it was like inspiring for me, and it was just like, you know, I was like kind of thinking, this is what I want my life to be. Do you know what I mean?
Just mega rich.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But it was just an experience. Obviously, loads of lads come out from the States, and, you know, it was just mad. It was just like two, you know, pole of opposites, like worlds, but it was just a good crack.
That's why
like my dad's mates got nicked over there, and he said the cells were better than his hotel. He said, next time I'm just going to get nicked. but yeah, just a good experience, like a good laugh.
That's why I asked him, Mark, because I always like the experience boxing and stuff. For me, it's just, it takes you away, doesn't it? It gives you a broader perspective on life. It's amazing, and some of the experiences you get.
It is, mate. It is. It's you know, like boxing, like I said, I fell out of love with it, but and I'm, you know, I managed to grow that love back because what I was doing, where I was going. But forever be grateful, and, you know, the things to boxing for what it's done for me. Completely changed my life.
What things would you do to grow that? Would you actively pursue that love to get it back, Matt? Would there be things you do for anyone who's struggling with boxing in that way right now because of the pandemic and what's coming and all that? So, or was it just time away that you realised you love it? No,
but it was for a few years, like up until Oliver got ill, like for a few years I was struggling. Like after the Abraham fight, it's like something popped inside of me. Do you know what I mean? I felt like really deflated. Because I thought I won that fight. It was obviously my fourth world title fight. I thought I'm never going to get another world chance. I thought that was my last one. And, you know, I thought I won the fight, but in the same breath, I thought I left it too close to call in Germany. So there was a little bit of guilt there as well. You know, I think that was the only fight where I didn't leave it all in the ring. And yeah, it was, like I said, so it felt like something popped. I felt a bit deflated, and then I ended up getting a fight with George Groves, which was a good hard fight. So I got up for that. But then after that, I thought, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going to get another chance. But I was still going to the gym. And, you know, that's what I tell any kids in the gym, or any lads who want to be professional, you know, train hard. You know, Jack Cattrall in our gym, Jack, he's in the gym religiously all the time. He's waiting for his world title shots, and you know, he's just in the gym working the best place he can be. And kind of like reminds me a bit of myself, Jack, because that's what I was like, just in the gym, and, you know, I was thinking, when am I going to get a fight? But believing that, you know, if I work out, something will come. Yeah. And so after that fight, after the Groves fight, even though I thought it was, you know, it was my last chance, I was still in gym, but I was finding it hard. Like every time I was in car, you know, getting myself off the couch and then on the way there, I just wanted to turn him off at every exit, turn back,
It
turn
weren't
back.
making you happy, was it?
No.
If anything, it would make you a bit sad.
It was, definitely. That's exactly what it was
I
like.
relate to that, like, yeah.
How many kids you got at this point, Matt?
3.
Because it's hard leaving the kids in it.
Yeah.
To go and stuff.
But the thing is, Jazz, it was like, you know, sometimes it's hard to get things going in boxing, and like, it was just, Nate was coming, but even though Nate was coming, I still knew there was something there, and that's what's frustrating. Like, after my last fight, like in December against Billy Joe, I just knew that, listen, there's no left there in me. You know, there's no there. I could get other fights, but I think what's the point? Meal's more important. But I knew, and I'm happy now. You know what I mean? I'm happy. Yeah. I'm content being retired. But then there wasn't. I knew there was more to you know, more out there to achieve and more fights. So it was hard. It was hard for me. And then obviously Oliver got poorly, and then I ended up, you know. But like, I was having this conversation with Oliver. Like, you know, I got to the gym with Oliver, and like, Oliver, it's killing me coming gym mate. So we ended up getting Jamie Moore used to come help us out, give us a little buzz. And then Oliver got ill, so I went with Jamie and Nige. And then it was just that was like, did me a good favour, that, because there was more people there. Like, a lot of times I was training on my own at Oliver's.
Shakes it up a little bit.
Shakes it up, yeah. And it was like new characters, interesting, good laugh, good crack. So
good,
then
top gym as well, isn't it?
Top gym, yeah. Top gym, and it was just like, all of us were saying that it was a top place to train, but then it was just one of them where
You just need it though. I think sometimes in life you do need that little change and a shake up. Otherwise it just becomes samey, doesn't it?
That's it, exactly.
And give you a new love for things.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of, I knew that, even though I said I knew there was a chance there, I kind of knew I wasn't the fighter what I once was. You know, especially going into that last camp, yeah, like, I just knew.
Do you know, is that something that you know inside?
Mate, you know what? You obviously, it's easy saying it in hindsight, innit? But like, for that last camp especially, like, the time I was taking off in between hard sessions it was like 5 days. More or less, I'm missing a week's worth of training so I could get my body right for spar again. Do you know what I mean? And it was hard, doing a lot of stretching. I stayed in a hotel a couple of weeks before the fight. My mates, Andy Mikhail, like my old agent, my good mate, stayed in his hotel. And, you know, all I was doing was going, having an hard spar, going back. And I didn't move out the hotel for like 3, 4, 5 days. And all I was doing was stretching, just resting, go to the gym. But even when I'm in there, even when I was sparring, like, yeah, you just know it gets harder. It does. You know, that it takes a lot longer to recover. Yeah, you just know, mate. You do. You just know. And I knew then after that fight, like, I kind of did it when I fought in Dam. I thought it was like, you know, and this gets me onto what I was saying about, you know, getting the love for it back. And my fight against Dam ended 2018. I thought, that's it. I've had enough. I'd had enough. Like, I tried, and, you know, it didn't go. I had enough night, but I thought I still won the fight. And I was fighting a foreign lad in my hometown, you know, my own country. And I'd had enough bad decisions when I fought foreign lads in their country. I didn't need a bad decision against a foreign lad in my own country. And I just thought, I just can't get any luck.
That's a punch to the stomach, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, proper. Yeah. So then I thought, I thought that's it. So anyway, kind of thought I'm not going to do it. But then started PTing, like training. And then by training and PTing people, I started kind of like getting the love for it back, and everything that Oliver was telling me back in the day and all these things. It was really making sense to me. Do you know what I mean? It was really clicking, and it was like, wow.
Is that because you're now a coach?
Well, is that why now I'm getting into coaching?
Are you getting a new perspective because now you're a coach?
Yeah. But everything, like, when I took a step back and I started teaching it, everything he was saying was kind of, you know, it was right what he was saying. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it another blast. So I did, and then obviously everyone's had a shit year, haven't they? But managed to get the Billy Joe fight. But like, I had 2 fights last year. 2019, 2 little fights, come back and see where I was. And I knew there was one bigger than there, so obviously the Billy Joe one come up and I took it, mate. So Yeah.
In the build-up, man, I was speaking to you, and I've got a lot of respect for you and Billy Joe, but I wanted you to win so bad because it was just being a great ending. Do you know what I mean?
It would, mate, yeah.
But one thing we boxing fans have been screaming for you now, looking at this, they've missed the Golovkin experience. What was this whole Golovkin experience like? Because you had great success in the fight, didn't you? Especially in
I
the
did, yeah. I mean, I did at times, like, where, again, like I'd always thought with Golovkin, like people are, even though I knew he was like a phenomenal fighter, I thought that people were beat before they got in. So I made a big thing. I'm going to fucking stand up to him, like, you know what I mean? So then we went to Johannesburg for a training camp. We was there 6 weeks, me and Oliver, Rocky, Nav come over with us. Andy come over for a couple of weeks. There was a few of them, like. And we flew straight from Johannesburg into Monte Carlo, and then obviously that was fight week then. Wade, he's a lovely guy, Golovkin, like. Yeah, he's just a nice fella, like. He just proper beats people up, don't he? That's what he does in there. So anyway, like, we kind of went out first round, and then we'd always worked on, because we'd seen him put a few people away with the left hook to the body. Me and Oliver worked on a tactic of riding the body shot, yeah. So kind of when he goes to throw it, any chance, like just go into it. You know, yeah. So just smothering him, like, you know what I mean? So you're not on the end of the shot.
Taking the impact away.
Yeah. So we worked on that throughout, and not once did he catch us with that left hook to the body, but he was trying. And I remember he was, I think, in round 4, tried to land this shot, and I kind of, again, I rode into it. And I like went all Sintellings on him, like going, "What was that, you fucking knobhead?" You know what I mean? What was that, you prick? Because I don't mind talking to people when I'm fighting. So I just said, "Oh, fucking, what was that, you prick?" But then, just like, I only know now what happened was he got onto it, and that was the thing about him. He's so intelligent, like, ride it and get away. But then he threw this big right hand that I didn't see as I was skimming away. So I literally just, "What was that, you prick?" Give him that, and then skimmed away. And then he's threw this shot, and it's literally just skimmed me across my stomach. I didn't even see you. All I remember is just getting tucked to my knees. And I'm not joking, like couple of first thought was having a baby. Yeah. Honestly, the pain.
Is that what went to your mind?
Mate, yeah, but another one that went to my mind was I thought I'd shit my shorts. Yeah, the pain that bad, I thought I'd shit my shorts. Yeah.
There's nothing you can do for a body shot. It's just not. No one wants to watch.
It's mad.
Just not.
In all them seconds, like the mad thoughts that were going through my head, it's mad because you think you can't have that enough time for it to think what you thought, but I did. I know what I thought. And then I got up. I don't know how I got up. And he was on me then, and I took too much damage. Like, he come on me again, put me down again, so I was down twice in round 4. Then got up, and then it was 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I took a lot of damage, and you know, he kind of, that's where the damage was done. So then I was trying to pull back and fight back, and there was rounds where I did have good success, but mate, they didn't dent him. Like, you couldn't put a chink in his armor, like, you know what I mean? Everything he did, he was good at. He was good at everything he did, mate. And you know, me and Oliver worked on this shot of on the rope, when we was on the ropes, because we knew the time was going to come where I was on the ropes, and it was just nice and sharp. It was right uppercut, left uppercut, right up, left up, dead sharp, bam, 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 bam. Anyway, he come in, we had him at ropes, and I nailed him with the shot, yeah. And he just fucking proper nailed him, and he just went, just shook his head at me. He honestly, he was like an Iron Man. And then I think it was 11 where he didn't put me down, but he hit me with a shot, and I was on ropes, and I'd kind of like just used dip.
Yeah.
And I kind of sagged a little bit, and no. He put me down again, didn't he, the bastard? Yeah. He put me down heavy in round 10. It was looking just, I think he hit me in top at temple. I don't know how I got up from that, but I did, and then survived the round, sagged in round 11, they called it off. But he just a good experience, like he was the best I'd fought. And I always wanted to challenge myself against the best, and he was just everything he did. He's just, and is I don't think he is what he once was, but he's just a phenomenal fighter, mate. And when, you know, like, just, even though he gave me an hiding, even though he, like, gave me a bit of an hiding, it was a pleasure to share the ring with him, do you know what I mean?
You earned his respect, Matt, didn't you?
I think it was because obviously, you know, I wouldn't say I caused him trouble at times because I didn't. Like I said, I was catching him clean. He was just like shaking. The only one thing I thought were he was getting a bit desperate towards the end for getting me out of there, and he couldn't. Well, he ended up doing, but I kind of felt the only thing I'd say, I kind of felt a little bit of desperation from him trying to get me out and he couldn't. A bit of frustration from his side of things, because don't forget, Jazz, when you're up there, you're knocking everybody out. There's a big expectation on you then for knock people out. Yeah. So he's knocking everyone out 2-3 rounds, whatever. And at the point, at that time, I was the 1 foot goal the furthest with him. Yeah. Now, obviously, a lot of people said, like, oh you went 11 rounds with Golovkin. And, like, you know, I was gutted. You know what I mean? It's the first time I'd gone into a changing room and cried. Do you know what I mean? I did, and I was heartbroken because I took myself away from my family, dedicated, proper knuckled down, like I did anyway, but it was the sacrifices away from my family. And that was the first time where I felt like I'd physically been beat by a better man. Do you know what I mean? The Stern was a draw. Martinez, I got beat, but I thought won. That was where I just got outmanned. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was fair and square. Yeah, it was tough to take. Like it was fair and square. But like a few months after that, like I went, you know, I went through a bit of a bad stage, mate. You know, I didn't even know it at the time, but it's weird. It's only when I got out of it did I realise that I was depressed. I went into, like kind of like sunk into like a bit of a depression, just going out drinking, just getting hammered. And then, there was a time, mate, where suicidal thoughts went through my head, and, you know, I'm not ashamed to say it. And Andy McKaylick, who we spoke about, ended up coming round our house and just give me a right bollocking, kick up the arse, mate. And then, learnt a lot from it, though, do you know what I mean?
Just them highest highs. We talk about this all the time, don't we? These highest highs create the lowest lows at the same time. So. Yeah.
I've been there myself, Matt, where you're talking about it's a hard place to be, and everyone's patting you back and you've done well, but you're just embarrassed. That's
it. I didn't go there for that. Yeah. So, but yeah, kind of like from then on, mate, then, you know, I got with Matchroom and they built me up and they got me to Groves fight. But then, you know, I was thinking about this the other day, like every fight then I had with Matchroom was a big fight, you know what I mean? It was Groves and then it was Rosado, and then I was on that Super Series as a reserve, and then who else was it? And then it was Billy Joe. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, listen, when I retired, I wanted to, I went everywhere and fought everyone, and, you know, I've done that, and I didn't get the world title, mate, but that was the thing with me, like, I wanted to be the first ever world champion from St Helens. Yeah. And that was massive motivation for me, and you know, for my legacy and all that. And then I kind of, after the Endam fight, I kind of like, you know, I let go of it, and it felt good. And then I started really enjoying boxing then for what it was like these past 2 years. But I knew, like I said, in that training camp, my last fight, it was hard, mate. And I knew my time was close.
Did that give you closure from that?
Definitely, I knew, mate. Yeah, I knew me like, the thing was in that fight, and I've said this, like there wasn't a lot in a lot of the rounds. There wasn't. Oh, yeah. The judge said it to me after. One of the judges said it, and, you know, I knew that myself, but I didn't have the gears, mate. I didn't have the gears. Like, I knew what I needed to do, and I didn't have the gears for, you know, go through the gears in between of doing what I needed to do. And my reactions were a little bit off, and, you know, it was like just little things in the fight. I remember, like, when he hit me low, and like, it hurt, don't get me wrong, but I've always been in the mentality, if you're in a fight and someone hurts you low, never show them that you're hurt, you know what I mean? Yeah. You just smile and poker face and just carry on, even though he's killing you. You just get on with it. Yeah. And a few times it's happened throughout my career, but, like, I found myself when I was with Billy Joe, I was like trying to get, you know, using my experience, pretending it was hurting more than it was, so I could have 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And again, I was thinking as I was doing it, thinking, wow, you're doing something that you've never ever done. Yeah. You know what I mean? Why are you pretending this is hurting as much as it is? And the thoughts that are going through your head, and, like, I was like, you're old. you're old, you know what I mean? Yeah, and then I just knew, mate. I knew. You know, I got back at changes after fighting. You know, there was me, Dean, my mate, who's buzzes off you. Dean's been everywhere with me, like throughout my career. You know, I had that little shitty 6 rounder in Johannesburg, and he flew over Johannesburg for the image stream of colour. Like, support I've got is unreal. Yeah. But Dean, Andy McKyle, Jamie Nige and Frank Hopkins, obviously, you know Frank, don't you? Yep. And went back at changing rooms, and like, you know, it was a few tears, and, you know, just thanked them all for being there for me throughout my career. And I just knew, you know, I can go on, I can carry on and go fighting, and, you know, fighting people in the book, and, you know, and get a title there or a title there. But I just think, what's the point, mate? I've, you know,
giving yourself the messages, it's time now.
Yeah.
Now that you've retired, what are your plans going forward?
Not about this one, I don't know. Obviously, I'm starting helping out coaching, like, so I think I will get into coaching. I don't think I know. I've got a lot to give, like my knowledge, like, not just from a boxing side of things, but everything I've learned over years. But yeah, I don't know, like, you know, kind of not really made any plans yet.
You're just existing, right? Or just being.
Just like, obviously, everyone's struggling with this lockdown, like, going places and doing whatever, but I'm just like, I'm dead happy because I've just got me, Gemmick, kids in the house, and, you know,
I love the videos what you put on.
We're sorted, like, us, and, you know, family's good, and, you know, both our families good, and our mates are good, and I just think, just enjoy, just chilling out, taking it easy, and then, you know, you don't know what's around the corner, do you? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just, like I said, I'm staying in gym, like, helping out. I'll start training fighters as time goes on, but I've not really made any serious plans or commitments, like.
Cool, save that for the next one.
Yeah, so after your next world title fight.
I was going to say it.
But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks, mate. It's been a pleasure. Just on John, cheers, mate.
I wish you all the best in your retirement, and I hope you enjoyed the time with your family and your blessed family.
Oh, nice one, mate, and all the best for you. Good luck with your fight, mate.
Thank you, Matt.
Top man.
Next time on How Are We Famalam podcast, we'll be speaking to Andy Grant.
Like 60 fellas at week one, day one, and 60 fellas are standing in a shower cubicle, and the corporal, he does a little trick though as well to make it funny. There's like 60 lads standing there in flip-flops and towel, and then there's, you know, one fella in his 30s standing there naked under a shower, saying, right lads, this is how you wash your armpits, you know, get it wet first, get the shower gel, wash it there, and then he gets his knob and he pulls his knob back. But what he'd done beforehand to make it funny is he put loads of Dairy Lee.
Oh, smeg me.
He goes like, he builds it up, he goes, right lads, if you haven't washed it for a couple of days, what can happen is as you pull your foreskin back and all this cheese started coming out.
Oh, hey.
And then he put on the towel in his ass crack as well, so when he started washing his ass, all like that. You know what I mean? So it's serious in the sense of
sounds it.
It's a serious point in the sense that you know, they're showing you, but it's fucking hilarious as well. But you know what? On a serious point though, I know we're laughing about it now. You'd be surprised how many people though, like, yeah, you imagine, and this is a serious point for a minute. You imagine growing up maybe, with just your mum, maybe not a male role model around, and no one's actually taught you the birds and the bees and how to shave and how to do this. So you know, we're sitting here now going, fucking hell, imagine someone telling you how to shave or to brush your teeth. But imagine if you've not had someone to do that. It's something that you laugh about now, but
Faster Car Finance provide a smooth, hassle-free way for you to apply for car finance and to get the vehicle of your choice. Whether you have good or bad credit, no deposit is required. A decision is reached within minutes, and one of our dedicated finance advisors will be available to discuss your requirements. Apply now at www.fastercarfinance.co.uk.